It's time for the Nebraska Women's Basketball Coaches Show, brought to you by BMO.
At top of the left wing, Darian White reverses it deep right side. Kendall Coley's going to take a three. You betcha! A triple for Kendall Coley.
Nice shot by Kendall. Good ball reversal by Nebraska.
High lob underneath. Caught by Markowski. Puts it up, and it counts! And a foul. What a dandy play from the side. Markowski hit the brakes. Nisley for three. You betcha! On the right wing. She's on fire. Length of the floor to go. She's having problems. Gets it in. It's deflected. Huskers get it back. Potts puts it up and scores. The Husker defense gets 2 points, and the Huskers lead by 5.
Yeah.
What a play. White in the forecourt. Markowski at the buzzer for three. You betcha! Brings the crowd to its feet. Alexis Markowski with a monster first quarter. Kicks to the deep left corner. Moriarty with two. With one. Her three-pointer. It's back rim. It goes in. You betcha! Kendall Moriarty with a triple.
Now with Amy Williams, here's your host, Jessica Coody.
And welcome into our Nebraska Women's Basketball Show. I'm Jessica Coody and excited to be joined by the head coach in studio for the next hour, Amy Williams, with us. If you have any calls or texts you want to get in for the head coach, 402-413-2400. That is the number on our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. Well, Coach, welcome in. Good to see you.
Yes, great to see you too, Jess.
Congrats on the win at Michigan. You always take those road wins, right? How proud were you of the fight? You guys are overcoming a little bit of injuries and to bounce back with that win on the road. How proud were you of your team?
Yeah, really, really proud of this group. I love coaching teams that have fight in them, and we showed great fight and resiliency to bounce back after a really tough loss and a little short-handed to go on the road and get a big win. So just incredibly proud of our group and want to keep pressing on the gas to becoming the best team that we're capable of becoming.
So you guys were trailing there, and after the first quarter, what changed? What allowed you guys to settle in?
Yeah, I thought that we were kind of just maybe a little out of sync and out of sorts, just kind of rushing some things. And I thought in the second quarter, we just really made an emphasis to work for paint touches and get the ball into the paint, whether that come from post feeds or penetration or whatever, and get inside and then inside-outside looks. And I thought because of that, we took some better looks in the second quarter there and gained a little momentum and went into halftime just down 1 point and within reach, and knew that it was a game we could go get.
And, you know, Michigan, you guys have some history with Michigan and have had some battles. And you guys were in a close one, but, you know, you always talk about defense and getting defensive stops, and your team answered the bell and really got some big-time stops there at the end of the game.
Yeah, and I'm so proud of that. I thought that we were really committed to doing the things we needed to do on that end. I thought, you know, Maddie Kroll was awesome in that game, just defensively making some things happen. There was a stretch there in the third quarter where she had a few steals just kind of right in a row that really sparked us and gave us some opportunities to get out in transition and get a lead. And I just thought our team glued in then down the stretch to get the defensive stops we needed.
When, you know, you guys obviously have a lot of shooters on your team, but when the three isn't falling, is that something that you have start to have those conversations? Hey, let's get inside. Let's get some looks to some of our post players.
Yeah, I mean, it is always an emphasis for us because we have one of the best post players in the country.
Yeah.
So it's always an emphasis for us. But I think the thing that people don't realize, they think, oh, well, you're not shooting the three. Why don't you just throw it inside? Well, if you're not making threes, teams are packing it in
Right.
and making it more and more difficult for you to throw the ball inside. So it's something that, you know, we're constantly searching for the right balance so that we can continue to attack teams in a lot of different ways, and you know, we want to be able to stretch defenses so that it makes life better for players like Alexis Markowski and Ani Stewart and Jessica Petri and Natalie Potts, and you know, the players that are really wanting to be efficient down inside.
When your assistant coaches were on a couple weeks ago, Jessica Keller and Julian Asibe, we were talking about that. Don't really feel like Alexis Markowski is getting enough credit nationwide. I mean, she's just, but she is night in and night out. And you've said this a couple of different times, how teams are doing everything they can to take her out of it, but yet she's still continuing to produce double-doubles almost night in and night out. I mean, what can you say about the effort that she continues to try to get to do whatever she can despite the efforts from opposing teams?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so proud of her. I think that's the result of a lot of hard work and very intentional focus by Lex just this entire off season and throughout the entirety of this season. And she made it her goal to improve footwork and be more efficient with her scoring, but also to work hard for her conditioning, to be able to sustain longer stretches out on the court and to be able to, really be effective, staying locked into defensive game plans. And I think that we're seeing the results of that because she's been able to be much more consistent with her production, just both with points, both with defense, or as well as defense, and also her rebounding.
You know, I had her on our Husker Women's Wednesday podcast, the first episode, and I was talking to her about how Natalie Potts and her seem to be really playing well off each other. Now throw Jess Petri into the mix. How have you seen that kind of develop with those post players and how they're able to play with each other and kind of provide that 1-2 punch for you guys inside?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, it's not super common when you are talking about two of those players being freshmen, and it usually takes a little bit of time. But at this point, I think Alexis has had really good opportunities to kind of understand when people are going to be doubling off of her. And those young ladies are really high IQ and competitive players that know how to continue to move and create opportunities for themselves to be able to help impact the game. And so, it's nice to see. We want them to be flourishing down the stretch and really coming together at the right time. And that's what we're starting to see.
Natalie Potts is certainly making a case for herself to be the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. She does a lot of really good things for you guys, but what would you say is her number one strength?
I think her number one strength is just the way that she plays with a motor, and that could show up in a lot of different ways. You know, there's been games where I felt like she's really sparked us to a win with her defensive intensity and deflections and tips and steals and making some things happen, just being aggressive on defense. Then there's also been games where she's affected the game with offensive rebounding and just second chance hustle plays, getting after the glass and being able to score because of her offensive rebounding. But all of it starts with a motor and a willingness to want to work and be relentless, to work hard out on the court. And so to me, that's without question the first thing that drew us to Natalie and the thing that allows her to have such success.
Jess Petri also is providing you guys with some big minutes, and she seems to make just, again, buckets when you need it the most a lot of times. But how have you seen her maybe settle in, get more comfortable? Is it just sometimes a process for a freshman?
Yeah, I think that she is a unique player for our team because she bounces back and forth, and she plays some minutes for us at the 4 and some minutes for us at the 5. And there are a lot of differences between those two in our system just because defensively she might have to be out, hedging ball screens or really banging around down in the low block, but sometimes switching off onto guards and being able to stay in a stance and keep that in front. And I think that's not something that we ask very many people to do, but because of her versatile skill set, we've asked her to be able to kind of bounce back and forth. And so sometimes that takes a little bit longer to gain the comfort level, but we're starting to see her thrive and get more and more comfortable with whether she's in the court, on the court in either one of those spots.
Okay, so going back to the Michigan win, you had told Matt Coatney after in your post-game interview that you would have given Maddie Kroll the game ball. What did you see? What did you like about her performance for you guys in that win?
Well, I thought she's just been really resilient. We've made some shuffles and mixes and changes to our starting lineup, trying to find good opportunities to play to her strengths in certain situations. And I think she's just really embraced that and done what the team needed her to do, but came out in that particular game, even though We have at times been wanting to try to limit her minutes just with some things she's been dealing with health-wise, but she played 30-plus minutes in that ball game and really sparked us, just was so solid defensively and really anchors our defense with her communication and the way that she directs traffic. And I thought she just made some big-time hustle plays that sparked us on that scoring run in the third quarter that gave us the lead that we were able to play with for the rest of the game.
I mean, how important is that just, again, for her to kind of maybe lead in that example of embracing that role, from being that person that's providing the spark off the bench, just to embrace that and want to do whatever she can in that role?
Well, it's huge. I mean, I think it shows what a tremendous leader she is because of her willingness to continue to remain selfless through whatever, and just, we've been talking a lot about, how hard it is this time of year to continue to be thinking team first and continue to put your team first. And, it's hard when everybody is, competitive and wants to be playing and contributing and helping our team win. But I think she genuinely personifies that and just does an amazing job of staying committed to this team and helping us do whatever is necessary just to win ball games.
Love that. And on that note, the moving Callan Hake into the starting lineup, what were you seeing out of Callan that you thought she could maybe help you guys from the start and moving into that starting lineup?
Well, I think Callan does a good job of pushing pace. As a sophomore, she's become much more comfortable with, kind of our offensive scheme and how to play call in transition, where to put the ball, get it to the right places. But also Callan has really been shooting the three well for our team this year. And when she's able to do that and we're able to put another 40% three-point shooter on the floor out there, that really helps kind of stretch the floor a little bit, makes life a little bit easier for drive lanes, makes life a little bit easier for post players to be able to either go make a move, or if they're doubling off, know that they're leaving somebody that we all have confidence in to be able to be a threat from behind the arc. So I think, those are the things that Callan really brings to the table for our team, and whether she's doing that from the starting lineup or from the bench, we don't really care. We know what she can do to impact the game, but just trying to find the right tweaks to be able to put us in the positions to be able to have great starts and to finish quarter strong. And so we decided to mix some things up, and she's done well with that as well.
You guys were able to get that win without Darian White, which was huge. And so Dries from Florida actually asked on our text line, how is Darian White doing? When will she be back in the lineup?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I really don't even have the answer to that right now. And right now she's working around the clock, just very diligently working hard to try to be back out there with her teammates as soon as possible. But it's going to be one of those injuries that's just a day-to-day thing, and we're just going to have to each day come in and see how she's responding to the previous day's treatments, rehab, and training, and hope to have her back out there just as soon as possible with us.
It's such a grind, and we were talking about this before we went on the air, but just, making it through a conference season, how do you guys balance maybe knowing when to practice, when to maybe kind of pull back a little bit and let your team rest, but just, all the things that's necessary to keep a team healthy throughout Big Ten play before you guys even get to postseason?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Jess. There's a lot of things that go into it. I mean, we are really blessed here at Nebraska because we have a very extensive sports science staff that takes a look at a lot of that information and loads, and we have a lot of things at our fingertips that, for example, the force plates and jump testing, and those numbers and data really tell us how our team is kind of doing fatigue-wise, and so we can utilize all of that information to help us make great decisions. But I think, my coaching staff and I have a pretty good feel for our kids. We talk with our athletic trainer and strength coach on a regular basis about kind of what we're all seeing, and we really seek out feedback from our players too, and we want them to be able to give us feedback about kind of where the team is at and what they feel like that they need. And so with all of those factors all considered, we try to make the best decisions about continuing to press forward, continuing to improve, but making sure we understand there's only so much tread on those tires.
It's fascinating, and again, you talk about it a lot, and every basketball coach does, that it starts to get to a point where you want to start peaking. So what are some of the things that you need to see from your team to start maybe putting together their best basketball?
Yeah, I think the big things for us just lie in continuing to be smart with execution, knowing that at this point, teams have 20 games worth of scout film on you. They're going to try to take away the things you've been doing really well and invite you to settle for things that maybe we haven't done so well. So our ability to continue to work on spacing and timing and being hard to guard and being able to look at the second, third, fourth options throughout our offensive sets, and then just defensively finding ways to cut back on some of the defensive mistakes and finishing each possession with box outs and rebounds and keeping that rebounding at the forefront. Those are the biggest keys for us right now.
All right, got to get to our first break here on our Nebraska Women's Basketball Show. Art, I see your text. Our guy Art has texted in, so we will get to that right after this break. BMO is a proud sponsor of the Husker Radio Network. We're committed to helping our customers make real financial progress. To learn more, visit BMO.com. We're back with more with head coach Amy Williams coming up after this.
I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program. I'm recruiting for the team, and I want it to be the finest team in America. I'm looking for someone like you to be a teammate's mentor, someone who is willing to reach out to a child and make a difference. Meeting with a student once a week at school can make an impact in their life and in the community. We want you to join our team. Go to teammates.org to apply today.
There's no community like a Cenex community. And that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Woodhouse has got you covered for your next car, truck, or SUV. We are committed to making the car buying and owning experience better, thanks to our knowledgeable sales staff and factory-certified technicians. You can discover our large inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles anytime at woodhouse.com, where we have made buying a car easier than ever. Whether you need a family hauling SUV, a car to take you around town, or a hard-working truck, Woodhouse has something for everyone.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that's made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough.
Now, get 1.9% financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Ford F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Welcome back to our Nebraska women's basketball show. Jessica Coody, along with the head coach, Amy Williams, and one of our favorite texters and someone that texts in almost every show, Art in Los Angeles, had this to say. That was one of the best wins all season. The way the team played this last game, it will be very difficult for any other team to beat the Huskers in the postseason. I just want to thank all the players and Coach Williams for being so awesome. I'm a very happy fan. GBR. Art's got to be happy that maybe you guys are going to be making some trips out to California here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, well, that's my goal, is that at some point when we get out to LA, I want to be able to meet Art in person and shake his hand and just thank him for being such a loyal fan to Nebraska women's basketball and loyal to this radio show too.
You know, but he said it, and you said this too in your post game. But that was one of the grittiest and toughest wins. Just fighting through some of the things. But when you talk about coming off a heartbreaking loss like you guys did, how important was that to get back into the win column after that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really important to accomplish the goals that this team has for ourselves, but also just for our confidence and psyche and you know, just being able to continue to press forward so that we can, you know, peak here as we move through February is really, really important for us to bounce back, to be able to have a short-term memory and to be able to get back out there and show some toughness, and I thought we did that.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, we haven't talked about this on the radio show, but you guys now have 3 endowed scholarships, 2 of those new this season, and they've announced, and one of them, again, the inaugural one coming up this weekend that is going to be by the Stone family. But I just kind of wanted to talk to you about that and just, you know, having those endowed scholarships, what does that do for your program? How important is that?
Well, it's incredibly important to have that kind of support for Nebraska women's basketball and our program. I think our players feel so honored that we've had such incredible supporters that have supported us in that way, and then for them to be, you know, named to those endowed scholars, you know, I think scholarships, it just is, it's an incredible honor for them and something that we're so appreciative of the support that comes through those.
So let's talk about Maddie Kroll was just awarded one, you know, just again, for her to earn that scholarship. What was it about her that she earned that and that she was a fit for her scholarship?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you just look at the criteria that was put out there for the Latimers and you know, previously I know Izzy Bourne had been in that role, but you know, somebody that just is such an incredible representative of what it means to be a Husker, you know, just somebody that's dependable and loyal and hardworking and does things the right way and is a great student and great citizen and very committed to being involved in the community. And Maddie checks all those boxes. She just is just the perfect recipient for that award.
And then how cool is it now you got an alumni, Stephanie Boley, that's now sponsoring a scholarship as well. Just for her to want to step in and support this program, what does that mean to you guys? And then I guess Allison Widener got her scholarship.
Yeah, I mean, as a former alum myself, just to have somebody like Stephanie that, has stayed connected to this program, continued to support it, and continues to see the need and value in that type of support. Just, so thankful to Stephanie and just really excited to have a player like Allison Widener, a Nebraska native that has been through some challenges and hurdles, but continues to just absolutely shine like just the star that she is, and continues to attack any hurdle that comes in her way, just, with a vengeance. And I think Stephanie would be very, very proud to have someone like Allison Widener be the first recipient of that Stephanie Boley scholarship.
I've been so impressed with her, getting off track a little bit, but just the way that, gosh, it can be so hard. And she could probably, she's very, could very well have a pity party. I mean, it's hard to go through what she's been through, but gosh, she's so invested in the team. She seems locked in and just has such a good attitude about it. It's been really, really neat to see her kind of attack this thing.
It really has. And it's not something she's just trying to kind of pass the time. She's saying, how can I use this time to just better myself? And it's not just, with physical skills or, because that's what she's been used to, is finding ways to lift more weights or, shoot more shots or work on her ball handling a little more. And now that hasn't always been the option, she attacks the rehab that she can do and the training that she can do with that same vengeance. But it's been, okay, how can I become a better teammate? How can I become a better leader? How can I learn about our offense? How can I improve my IQ? How can I, be able to be of value to my teammates by, imparting the information that I know and that I can see from sitting over here on the sideline. And she just, continues to find ways to grow and improve. And it's that growth mindset that just is going to set her apart and is the reason why she's going to be back stronger than ever.
Okay, so then the last one that will be announced this Sunday, the Stone Family Scholarship, and that one's going to Darian White. Tell us about that one and why Darian was deserving of that one.
Well, first of all, just a huge thank you to Joe and Chris Stone, who've just been incredible supporters of Nebraska athletics and specifically Nebraska women's basketball. And I've had just a great time getting to know them better. And so we're very grateful to them for their support in this way. And Darian is somebody that we talk all the time about, that we wish that we had more years to coach her, because she has come in and just been such a bright light. She just has energy and she's got a smile about her, and she just has brought so much to our team and the culture that is just so valuable. And so I think just a great fit and a great recipient for that as well.
It's so exciting. Again, would you have thought, okay, we had the one, and then now here you are, you have two more to go along with that this year. It's a pretty special time, right, to be a head coach here in this program.
It is. It shows just how incredibly just fortunate that we are at a place like the University of Nebraska to have the fan base, the supporters, the donors that we have that continue to give, and just so grateful.
All right, we got to work in another break here, but got some fun stuff to get to on the other side of this one. So stick around. And by the way, you could win a 2024 Porsche Macan from Porsche Omaha this season. 4 lucky Husker fans will have a chance to win a 2024 Porsche Macan if they make a full court putt at halftime at one of 4 home men's basketball games this season. For more information and the official rules, go to www.huskers.com/putt.
That's the best way I could describe how it felt for me when I would walk out of either the casino or the Keno parlor, is that you just felt that wave of heat, that wave of oppression kind of hit you, that wave of dread.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
Right away, you would always know that that drive home would be the worst moments of why. Why did I do this again? Why can't I stop this?
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Start your next journey with Woodhouse. Our commitment extends beyond just selling cars. We offer an unparalleled car buying experience that allows you to shop and buy all online. Explore an array of new brands, makes, and models, as well as our large selection of pre-owned vehicles. And it's easy to get started today with our streamlined purchasing process online, granting you the freedom to secure your next vehicle anytime, anywhere. Discover a better way to buy with Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Kidwell is celebrating 75 years of business, and they know how many network issues you and your team have to resolve. Let them help. Kidwell and Juniper leverage Mist AI to provide more visibility, flexibility, and scalability into your network to quickly get rid of those trouble tickets. Heighten the user experience and deliver reliable wireless access to customers and employees to simplify operations for network administrators. Kidwell, see beyond. Inspiring connectivity and communication since 1948.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Woodhouse has got you covered for your next car, truck, or SUV. We are committed to making the car buying and owning experience better, thanks to our knowledgeable sales staff and factory certified technicians. You can discover our large inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles anytime at woodhouse.com, where we have made buying a car easier than ever. Whether you need a family hauling SUV, a car to take you around town, or a hard-working truck, Woodhouse has something for everyone.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Kidwell is celebrating 75 years of business, and they know how many network issues you and your team have to resolve. Let them help. Kidwell and Juniper leverage Mist AI to provide more visibility, flexibility, and scalability into your network to quickly get rid of those trouble tickets. Heighten the user experience and deliver reliable wireless access to customers and employees to simplify operations for network administrators. Kidwell, see beyond. Inspiring connectivity and communication since 1948.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Welcome back to the Nebraska Women's Basketball Show. Jessica Coody here with the head coach, Amy Williams. Well, Coach, we are just minutes away from the kickoff in the 2024 Husker softball season, which I know you're really excited about.
Yes, I am super excited. That team. I love softball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a softball mom, and I also am just really, really excited for my good friend Coach Ravel, but also that team to kind of get things kicked off. So excited to pay attention to see how this goes here opening night.
So have you thought about how in a year from now you're going to have a daughter that it's going to be playing in the opener?
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my mind around all of that, and we're still trying to kind of. We'll figure out the logistics when the time is right, but pretty special.
Yeah, I guess she'll be playing both, so she might not be there for the opener, but just the fact that she'll be a part of this team in a year, it's got to be pretty cool to think about this is going to be one of her teams next year.
Yeah, she's incredibly blessed, and yeah, we're excited for that.
So, when you talk to coaches about who you want your kids to play for, and we've had this conversation with Fred Hoiberg before, but what is it about Coach Ravel that you want Kennedy to be able to play for her too, and just the kind of leader and coach that she would be for your daughter? Well,
she's been an incredible friend and mentor to me since I've been here at Nebraska, and is one of the best leaders I've ever been around. And when you watch the impact that she's had across the entire softball world, not just here at Nebraska where she's won over 1,000 wins, but the way that the rest of the softball coaches across the country just respect her. Mm-hmm. She's just one of the best leaders I've ever been around. And so to have a daughter that gets the opportunity to be a part of that and to learn from her, just a incredible opportunity and very special.
Very, very cool. Okay, so yesterday was National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and on the Husker social media platforms, you might have seen, but a really cool video happened where they surprised some of the female student athletes with messages from their parents talking about the impact that sports has made on them. And so Callan Hake was the athlete that was surprised by her parents, Jill and Chad. So we wanted to listen to that and provide you guys that. And then just a cool moment for Callan Hake.
Hi, Callan. Happy National Women in Sports Day. What a great day for you. As we reflect on this day, I think about your grandmothers who had the great privilege of watching you play in the last week, and how they never had an opportunity to play sports. And you've had that opportunity since you were 3 years old to strap on your first little pair of pink and white high tops and go live your dreams, whether it was basketball, soccer, track, all the sports that you did. It's been so much fun watching you, and we just continue to enjoy to watch you play, to show your resilience, show your strength, your grit, your commitment, and your passion for the sport. But most of all, I'm so proud of what a great mentor you are to young girls that you come through, that you come in contact with through camps, through signing autographs, walking down the street, wherever it may be. I love what a great role model you are, and that you are a great advocate for the sport, and you continue to shine bright. So keep being you, keep working hard, keep enjoying your passion, and go Big Red.
Callan, you are such an inspiration to everybody that you come in contact with, and I just love the way that you play the game. You play it with passion, with heart, and then off the court, you do the same thing. You inspire others, and especially when you see how you touch families, not just little girls, but families, and what you do each and every day. You live it and you do it, and you are so inspiring, and the way that you lead by example, we are just so incredibly proud of you and the way that you do it. And for all women across the country and little girls, we are just incredibly proud, and we love you so much. Go Big Red.
Love you.
You're getting a little emotional during that.
Yes, every time I watch it, and I've watched that multiple times. First of all, can I just say a huge thank you to our social media team that kind of that had that idea and put that together, and what a really cool surprise for Callan and all of the other athletes that were represented in that piece. And I just thought just a really touching, but I think so absolutely perfect for National Women and Girls in Sport Day to be able to kind of to have that type of message about what type of an inspiration, not just Callan and the rest of our team, but all of the athletes here at Nebraska are to the young women and girls that aspire to be just like them someday. And awesome day, and just an awesome way to celebrate it. And just thank you to Jill and Chad for making that surprise happen, and making me emotional, making Callan emotional, and just really touching.
They're such great people. They're so nice. You've got a lot of great parents. How important is that? How much does that help you to have that kind of support system? I mean, it seems like no matter where you go, you're going to have multiple parents in the stands supporting your team, but just how supportive they are of your program. And it just seems like such a close-knit group.
Yeah, it is a great group. And I think, that is our players, first line of support. And so really, really important that those people are on board with supporting Nebraska women's basketball and our team to its fullest, and we're very fortunate to have that.
So you talked about just the National Girls and Women in Sports Day and inspiring the next generation. There was a really cool event last night. We were out there live, but your team all went, and it was every sport except for softball because, of course, they're on the road tonight. But, we're inside the Hawks Championship Center, and they were interacting with a lot of the young girls from the community, and it was such a cool event. But to see your team out there, I think almost your entire team was there, coming off the late night trip from, following the win over Michigan. But just how important was that for your team to be a part of and to continue to inspire like they do almost every single day?
Yeah, it's important. And I think the one thing I know for sure is that an event like that is as important or as fulfilling for our athletes as it is for the young girls that come out to be around our athletes. Just being able to have that influence gives confidence to our players and our team, and continues to redirect them back to what's really important. And so just a special opportunity. I'm so thankful to Nebraska Athletics for providing that. And Maya Felder, I know, was really involved in that event and organizing, and to have something really cool like that for us to come back from Michigan and a late night, but to be able to do that and to continue to realize the impact that we're having is pretty special, and we're grateful.
So on National Girls and Women in Sports Day, of course, we celebrate the growth and again, just being inspired, which now your team is now inspiring a lot of the next generation. But we've heard Alexis Markowski talk about how she was inspired. Of course, some of your Nebraska players that were inspired by players like Jordan Hooper and all of that. But for you, when you were growing up, did you have a woman that you looked up to that inspired you as a role model?
Well, without question, the number one role model would have been my mom, and not necessarily in sport, because we tease her all the time. She was playing 6-on-6 basketball and only was a defender. So every time we went to the gym with my mom, like, she didn't know how to shoot because she didn't have to shoot. She just guarded. And so I don't know, maybe that's why I became a defensive specialist. But certainly so thankful to her for just mentoring to me and showing me that I could do anything I put my mind to, and it's been an incredible inspiration to me.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, my mom also played 6-on-6, and we joke to her about the same thing. I mean, she's got a two-handed, ugly-looking shot, but all she had to do was play defense and then dribble it up. She could handle it really well.
She said occasionally if she got fouled, she'd have to walk down, but she said that didn't happen very often when, to get fouled on that end of the court. And so, yeah.
But that again is just another example of how far we've come, that, it's, I think probably nowadays you tell somebody that, hey, basketball used to play 6-on-6, like half court. I think probably some of the younger generation are like, what are you talking about? How did that even work?
For sure. I guarantee you that none of my current players would have even been on their radar.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, let's work in our final break here of our Nebraska Women's Basketball Show. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. We got the final segment with head coach Amy Williams coming up after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
Active Liver is one of many award-winning health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at Amazon.com or for a volume discount, visit newnordicusa.com. Available as a tablet or delicious sugar-free gummy. Protect and help your liver the easy and effective way with Active Liver at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
If you're an unconditional, wholehearted, and ever so loyal Husker fan, you deserve to pay like one everywhere you go. With the free FNBO Husker Visa debit card. Fuel your fandom all season and beyond with a debit card just for you. It's free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get your free Husker Visa debit card at any branch or at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Welcome back. It's our Huskers Radio Network broadcast, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealers, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Final segment here of our Nebraska women's basketball show with head coach Amy Williams. We got a text on the text line for you. DR in Malcolm said, my daughter loved last night's event and the softball bash last weekend. Yeah, great turnouts for both, too. It's just, I know we say that a lot and we kind of harp on it, but just the amount of support that show up and for those types of events, it's really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we're so fortunate. We just feel so grateful and blessed to have amazing fans and young women. And like I mentioned earlier, I just think a lot of people feel like that's us giving our time to give back to our community, but I don't know that they realize that that community is really fueling us when they come to support us at events like that they really want to bring those young women around us. And I just think that is equally as beneficial for both sides.
So the only thing I'll say is your girls' station, they didn't have a hoop. They did a beanbag toss. They played some cornhole. So next year or the next time, we got to make sure we have a hoop for them to shoot.
Get some shots off, right?
Yeah,
I know, because trust me on this, I've watched our kids play cornhole bags in some of the yard games, and so they need to stick to basketball.
we got to get Amanda on that, Amanda Hart.
Yeah.
Next time we got to get a basketball hoop. All right, well, big one coming up on Sunday. You guys played Iowa, played them tough there for the first half too. Was really, really close. But tell us about the matchup and just kind of what you're looking for out of your team to perhaps maybe pull off an upset here on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, we feel like we had some really good flashes when we played over at Iowa, and so, but we've got some things we're going to have to clean up, and obviously everybody knows Caitlin Clark is at the top of the scouting report, but there were some players that really hurt us. I thought Sid Affalter came in off the bench and gave them 16 points, got some second chance points, and Kate Martin, a lot of backdoor cuts and cuts to the rim and layups, and so we're going to have to clean up and try to take away some of that really veteran supporting cast that Caitlin is playing with as well, and it'll have to be a great game for us, a complete 40-minute game. We're going to have to shoot it well and score well, but we feel really excited about the opportunity that's in front of us this weekend.
Sold out crowd inside PBA, and again, it's been growing and growing. But have you thought about what it's going to be like to have that place just completely sold out for the first time for one of your games?
I'm really trying to still process that, and I remember talking to one of our recruits in Pinnacle Bank Arena my first year here at Nebraska, and we were talking about our fan base and just how incredible it was, and that it wouldn't be long before we had sold Pinnacle Bank Arena out for women's basketball, and here we are. It just gives me chills, and I'm really excited about it, and it's going to be electric in there.
And yeah, just for a task like Iowa, I mean, how much this crowd getting behind you guys and kind of helping energize you and set the tone, how important is that going to be?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. Our team is fueled off the energy from Husker Nation, and so we will definitely be leaning into that and counting on a really electric atmosphere.
So back to the scout a little bit more. I mean, we talked about this some last time, but how do you defend a team like with Caitlin Clark? I mean, is it something where you kind of got to know that she's probably going to get hers and try to stop the supporting cast? Or how do you kind of go about building a defensive scout for Iowa?
Well, what a great question, Jess. My staff and I met today for about 4 hours, just really trying to break down several aspects and areas where we could potentially do a little bit better defensively, just a few possessions here in this and a little bit here, and being able to do this. We obviously haven't cracked the code on Caitlin Clark, but
nobody
has, right? I mean, I think you see people say, okay, we're going to take away her left hand, and then she goes for 41 driving right. I mean, she's very crafty and capable from no matter what you try to take away from her. So you just do your best to make things as challenging as you can, and then to lock down and not have mistakes away from Caitlin Clark, and you're going to have to play pretty good offensively to give yourself a chance.
Huge opportunity, though, right? You guys embracing this #2 team in the country coming into Pinnacle Bank Arena. You got to love that kind of opportunity.
Oh, we're so excited. And after we've watched our men's team knock off a couple top 10 teams in the country this year and do that, and just the, it was so crazy, after those wins, and we'd like to participate in that as well.
Absolutely. All right. Best of luck. Thank you for your time, and we can't wait for Sunday.
Thanks, Jess.
Okay, again, Nebraska women's basketball and Iowa coming up at noon inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. By the way, the last time that these two teams played, they just so happened to have the largest television audience in Big Ten Network history the last time when they played at Iowa. So going to be not only a sold-out crowd inside Pinnacle Bank Arena, but also no doubt a huge television audience tuning in for this one as well. Thanks so much to Amy Williams for joining us here over the last hour. And again, should mention we'll have the call for you right here on the Huskers Radio Network. And Matt Coatney, Jeff Grease will be on the call for you on that one. We got a whole nother hour of Sports Nightly coming up next. We're going to listen into some of that softball game, the opener in Puerto Vallarta with Nate Rohr. He is on the call right now. So Greg Sharpe will join me next. Keep it here on Sports Nightly. Dorothy Lynch, home style and light and lean dressing. Endless flavorabilities.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's time for some Nebraska Farm Facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
I just remember leaving that day feeling absolutely exhausted. I was sick and tired of living that double life.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
The anxiety, the depression is real. You start thinking about the money, where that could have went to. It's never enough. I could win $10 million today, and I'd go back and try to win 20 tomorrow.
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that's made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough.
Now, get 1.9% financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Ford F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. The Jordy Ball era has kicked off as the Nebraska softball team take on number 7 Washington in the Puerto Vallarta College Challenge. The 17th ranked Huskers are looking to start the season strong as Ball takes the mound in her first game as a Husker. In Big Ten men's basketball tonight, only one game, and that is Iowa trailing Penn State 42-34. In the top 25, number 8 Arizona travels to face Utah, and UAB hosts number 20 FAU. In Big Ten women's basketball, Michigan State is playing number 14 Indiana, Northwestern at Illinois, number 2 Iowa hosting Penn State, and number 5 Ohio State visiting Minnesota. And in the top 25, number 16 Virginia Tech against number 3 NC State, and number 15 Louisville leading number 12 Notre Dame by 5 with 24 seconds left in the game. 9 games in the NBA tonight, including the Timberwolves at the Bucks, the Cavs against the Nets, Jazz versus the Suns, and the Lakers hosting the Nuggets. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Goes off the bounce, goes behind your back, works foul line, Potts for 3, top of the key. You betcha! Natalie Potts, the Big Ten Freshman of the Week with a triple.
Getting a hand on it was Juwan Gary. Wilcher scoops it up now to Williams across the timeline. Williams to the trailing Wilcher, fumbled it, got it back. Drives to the baseline, 15-footer up. Got it! We got a tie ball game!
8 on the shot clock, Darian White, right wing, needs help. High lob underneath, Markowski. Gets a double team, kicks to the deep left corner. Moriarty with 2, with 1. Her 3-pointer, it's back rim, it goes in! You betcha! Kendall Moriarty with a triple.
Huge shot. The pump fake by Mast. Step back 3 on the way. Got it! Holy smoke! Holy cow! The Flying Dutchman with a victory to tie it at 65.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Great to be here with you on hour number 2, Sports Nightly on a Thursday night. Last night at this time, we had handed it off to Kent and Jake, so I think let's start with that game. It was another tough road effort for the Huskers. They drop it by 12 to the Wildcats. And, you know, Fred Hoiberg, I think, obviously he's got a good handle on his own team, Jessica, because he, I think, mentioned this with you on Monday, that the 2 categories for this team, rebounding and turnovers. He goes, if we do one of them really well, we got a chance. If we don't do either one very well, it's going to be hard. They got out-rebounded by 7, gave up 13 offensive rebounds, and they turned the ball over 17 times. That's not a good recipe, particularly on the road.
Yeah, and Bowie was out of his mind.
Well, out of his mind.
After he didn't.
And we kind of thought that, right?
Yeah, because he just did not play well. It was one of his, I guess you could say, worst performances of the season when he was here. You knew he's probably going to be on a mission. What was up, though, with the Western theme for the crowd last night?
Must have been like the cowboy hats they gave at volleyball here. I don't know.
Well, that was tied to Coach Cook.
I know. I don't know that there was I did not like the mocking of Casey. I thought that was low class by Northwestern. I'm losing my mind. They had 2 players do that after they made threes. That's what Casey has done a couple times here. I thought that was kind of low class of Northwestern. I think, to me, just kind of what we were talking about, just being maybe a little bit concerned about the fact that they were going to be fired up for this one. They wanted that one back, the one that they lost here inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. So they looked like they were ready to go. They were fired up. They were on a mission last night. And I just can't help but think that maybe fatigue is getting to this Husker basketball team, and the travel that they've had, how many minutes they've had to play with the overtime wins, and just kind of the grind of the last couple weeks, I think is caught up to them. Well, they haven't had a bye week yet.
Yeah.
That's coming up after the Michigan game Saturday, where they won't play from Saturday to Saturday. But I'm with you, and I think Coach Hoiberg even told Kent and Jake in his postgame, he said, we were a step slow getting out on those threes. We didn't get kind of a hand in the face. Obviously, they made them, and so you credit them for that. But you make it a little tougher for them to get the shot off. maybe they don't make they made 11 in the game, and in the first half, they made 8 of 16. So they shot 50% from behind the line in the first half. So I'm with you. I did a hit this morning on our Lincoln affiliate, and they were like, well, since we last talked, we've lost these 2 road games. And I go, no. Since we last talked, we've played 3 games because they played Wisconsin Thursday night and then Illinois Sunday and then last night's game at Northwestern. So that's 3 games in 7 days with 2 of them being on the road. And they did come back from Illinois back and forth. We talked a little bit about that last night. So I think this team's hitting a bit of a wall. Sure hope they can fight through it on Saturday because here comes Michigan off of a win over Wisconsin last night.
Yeah, at least that one's at home, though.
Right.
You know, like it's such a good time to have a home game because they've obviously been proven that they're really good. I think you said Sunday. I think it's Saturday.
The women are Sunday, the men are Saturday.
Yep. But just to be able to be home and be back in the friendly confines of PBA certainly provides will provide them a little extra juice. You'd think to fight through it, and then you get you get some time to maybe regroup and get some guys healthy. I mean, we were talking with Coach Williams about that, and even with the women's basketball team too. It's just this time of the year, I think for a lot of teams are battling with that, and you have to figure out how to manage your team. And then on top of the schedule and then playing the overtime minutes, they got some guys banged up that they're trying to get through this stretch with too. And so it's just, you got to find a way. And that's what Coach Hoiberg said. Hey, we can't do anything about it. This is the hand that we're dealt. We've just got to find a way to fight through it. But yeah, I think now's a really good time for them to be back home inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. Maybe you can get back in the win column, and then you can have a little bit of time to regroup.
It's a late Saturday afternoon start for that game. We did last night when you and I were on the air, we said we were hearing rumblings that they might change the starting lineup. They did. Jamarcus did not start, but I thought he played one of his better games. He ended up with 12 points, had a couple of assists. I thought it had a couple of steals. I thought Jamarcus did really well. I saw Coach Hoiberg today, and he said actually Jamarcus came to him and said, Coach, if you want to make a change in the starting lineup, I'm okay with that. That's a good sign when you got a young player that goes, I'm okay if I don't start. I think that's cool.
That's the culture of this basketball team, and we've heard Coach Hoiberg talk about it. I've heard a number of players. I mean, a guy like C.J. Wilcher also did the same thing, whatever you need me to do, and now look at how he's playing off the bench. I think just getting guys to buy into that role, whatever that role might be. We just heard Amy Williams talking about Callan Hake, and she went to, was in the starting lineup. Now she's coming off the bench. Just that's the ultimate team player. That's what really can fuel a basketball team when those guys are all embracing whatever role. But, kudos to Jamarcus to be okay with that. And I wondered too, again, for his future, this has got to be a good experience for him, learning to kind of manage as a point guard, but it's not his natural position. So just, what he's learned, but getting back to it, I got to think probably at times maybe he doesn't feel as comfortable as maybe in a different kind of role, because that's a lot to take on. And so, maybe when you get a point guard back and you can kind of maybe allow him to play off the ball a little bit more, which but kudos to him. And he did. He came in and boy, he made a really tough bucket, like right when he came off the bench, right? Yeah.
Shot.
Yeah. So just finding a way to, as soon as you get in there, make an impact. And unfortunately, they couldn't capitalize on it. But yeah, I thought he played really well coming off the bench.
Yeah. So Saturday for the guys, the women will play Sunday against Iowa, Michigan here. Both games are sellouts. And remember, Trev Alberts has challenged Husker Nation to sell out those. The Huskers men have 4 home games left. He wants them all 4 sold out. And Saturday's check on that. Speaking of ticket sales, and I did not get an update today, but Husker spring game tickets went on sale Tuesday to season ticket holders, Wednesday to the general public, and at the end of the day yesterday, 38,000 tickets had been sold, Jessica, for the spring game. That's a pretty good start in just a 2-day period. Again, I did not check late today, but 38,000. What a start. People are excited. They want to see these young quarterbacks that are going to be out there.
Absolutely. What did we say? What did we guess?
I thought we would be closer to 50 after a couple days. So maybe they got there today, but I'm not sure.
And with so much time left in between, I think it'd be even closer to filling that thing up.
Oh, I know. I thought 50 by this week. I think we'll be close to 70.
Yeah, and then there's going to be some cool ticket sales with the military appreciation.
That was last week.
Yeah,
they got rid of those.
So I think and then with some other events surrounding it, that's got to be fun. And when you talk about recruiting too, which is going to be a big recruiting weekend, but to be able to say, hey, this is what we've got on a spring game. This is what you're going to play, because a lot of those guys can't that are from out of state, it's hard for them to make it in to do an official visit during the season. So to be able to show, hey, this is what it's all about, is, let's face it, the spring game has become almost as much about recruiting, hasn't it? As it has playing that football game. So, certainly an opportunity, but there's a lot surrounding that in terms of, the next Huskers that could be a part of the next generation.
Yeah. Well, let's stay with football. You sent me this yesterday that Dominic Raiola went on and posted some video saying that Kirk Herbstreit, when he heard that Dylan might be thinking about making a switch and coming to Nebraska, that Kirk reached out to Dominic and said, I think you need to do it. If that's where his heart is, that's your alma mater. You know he loves that program. That would be a great move. Boy, that's caused some backlash at ESPN. Paul Feinbaum is livid. He thinks that's totally inappropriate for Herbstreit to make that phone call and make that thing. I don't get the problem. I mean, Kirk Herbstreit can call whoever he wants. He's not trying to really, I think he and Dom know each other from some point in time down the road, but I have no problem with that. I don't think that's stepping out of bounds for Herbstreit. Do you?
I don't at all. First of all, because you're talking about someone, well, Paul Feinbaum is SEC till he dies.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, he's going to be mad that that Dylan is leaving an SEC school. But also think about, Kirk and Chris and that team and really the broadcast people, they fly in every single week and they build relationships, they build the rapport, and get to know guys. And I know Dylan's not part of a college team yet, but again, just building those kinds of relationships and understanding, like that's what you would hope. I would think that that's what Kirk would want for players and coaches to feel like they can trust him to call him to get his opinion on things. And it's not like he's rooting for Nebraska. It's just more so giving his ear and saying, this is what I've seen from it, and his opinion, but it's not like he's pushing, but more so just, hey, if this is what you're feeling, go for it. And that's what goes into building those relationships that is so important when you are on a broadcast team, that they're they're traveling to these places every week. They're sitting down with coaches and players for hours on end and getting to know them and telling their stories on the broadcast. And a lot of what we don't see goes on the air, and it's just, again, he invests time to get to know them. I have no problem with it. There's just, for some reason, people are mad at Kirk Herbstreit for everything these days.
Everything he does.
Even bringing his
says.
dog to football games they're mad about.
People think that's wrong that he does that. But it was an interesting story. I had not seen that. You sent that to me. I think you said it yesterday. And then so I saw, and Dom has put up a video saying, yeah, Kirk, he talked with Kirk, and Kirk says, hey, if that's where his heart is, he needs to go there. But you're right. Feinbaum is a mouthpiece for the SEC. His show appears on the SEC network and all those type of things. Obviously, it crosses over to the big mothership of ESPN as well. But, it did seem to cause a stir. And Husker fans have had their issues with Kirk in the past. I'm sure they're okay with this one right now.
Yeah, but don't you think, too, just, again, when you're talking about a perspective, Kirk Herbstreit goes to all these different schools, the top schools in the nation. He's talking to these top players, guys that have transferred, guys that haven't transferred. He probably would have a good perspective on, hey, if your heart is here, that's where you should go, as opposed to, going, because how many times have we heard that story here over the last few years of where guys maybe think that it's a fit where they should go, but then their heart's somewhere else, or they feel like it's a better fit, but just kind of figuring that out. And so I'm sure he's got a great perspective of that, talking to coaches and players every single week during this time of the transfer portal, just, where is your heart? What is your best feel? And just maybe encouraging that, because he's probably got a better thumb on it than a lot of us,
right.
Just being that he is and going to all these different places every single week.
Interesting story, though. And so I can't wait to bump into Herbie at some point in time and kind of ask him more about that. And he's been quiet. He hasn't confirmed the story, so we're just getting it from Dom, but I'm not sure why Dom would make that up. And again, I think it's kind of funny, actually, that Feinbaum is all fired up about it. I think it's kind of comical that he's bothered that much, that this was a egregious thing, because Herbstreit's not on our payroll. It's not like this was tampering. He's not paid by the University of Nebraska. He's trying to help a kid maybe do something that might be right for the kid.
And not only that, ESPN is no longer carrying Big Ten games.
Correct.
So he's not even calling. He has nothing to do with Nebraska anymore, and there's no ties there. And especially, he's not employed by. His employer doesn't even have any kind of say in the Big Ten network or in the Big Ten TV coverage anymore. So he has no dog in the fight to be able to have that kind of opinion. And the chat's already blowing up and Kirk Herbstreit hates Nebraska, but, so again, if people think that he doesn't like Nebraska, why would he be encouraging?
Which I think that's a fallacy. I don't think he hates Nebraska. I think people all think that Kirk's picking against their team when he says make some comment about them.
Why? Where does that come from? Is it something specific?
Well, there was a couple of years ago they tried to rank the best college football teams of all time, and Kirk did not pick the 95 Huskers, which a lot of people do. And so everybody goes, oh, he hates Nebraska. No, he doesn't. He just picked a different team in the history of college football that he thought was better. That's fine. It's his opinion. People just get bent out of shape about that kind of stuff. So, all right, we're going to be following the softball no score bottom of the first down in Puerto Vallarta as the Huskers and Washington battling a batch of ranked teams down there. First game of the year for the Big Red. We'll listen in. Nate Rohr's down there fired up calling the action on the Huskers app and Huskers.com if you want to go listen to some of that as well. So we'll do a couple listens in this hour. And I've been giddy all day because it's Thursday, and that means Cole's joke.
Let's go.
We're not far off from Cole's joke.
Hopefully he's got a good one tonight.
We can only hope. 402-413-2400. I see some texts. We'll address those in the next segment. If you want to make a phone call, those lines are open as well. 402-413-2400. Woodhouse Auto Family. They are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. More of the show coming up next.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Start your next journey with Woodhouse. Our commitment extends beyond just selling cars. We offer an unparalleled car buying experience that allows you to shop and buy all online. Explore an array of new brands, makes, and models, as well as our large selection of pre-owned vehicles. And it's easy to get started today with our streamlined purchasing process online, granting you the freedom to secure your next vehicle anytime, anywhere. Discover a better way to buy with Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
That's the best way I could describe how it felt for me when I would walk out of either the casino or the Keno parlor, is that you just felt that wave of heat, that wave of oppression kind of hit you, that wave of dread.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
Right away, you would always know that that drive home would be the worst moments of why. Why did I do this again? Why can't I stop this?
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com. groundworks.com.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that's made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough.
Now, get 1.9% financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Ford F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you here on a Thursday night here on Sports Nightly. I'm going to check a couple of texts that came in. Carlos said, Greg, I agree with you about the Northwestern players mocking Casey. Totally classless. Stephen Bardo, I was watching the BTN broadcast, and they were like, man, I've never seen that kind of celebration. Then they went back to the studio, and somebody in the studio goes, well, that's Casey's kind of move. He's done that a couple times where he holds his head like, I'm out of my mind right now, and had two Northwestern players kind of doing that. Didn't like that. I thought that was a pretty classless move, and I kind of think Chris Collins does a pretty good job with his program, but I didn't like that. You don't need to do that.
Yeah, well, Casey just has a way about him. He just plays with so much emotion, so much joy. And I think for him, he doesn't mean it to be malicious when he's celebrating. It's just kind of how he's wired, and it's why Husker fans love him so much and why his teammates love him so much. But I think for opposing fan bases and opposing teams, they probably think that they don't like that very much, and especially when he's going off on them and then, he's celebrating. So, but yeah, you don't have to mock it. Let your play do the talking.
Exactly. They were making enough shots. Let that speak for it. For itself.
Yeah.
And then a text, Northwestern also played 3 games in 7 days, and the prior 2 were also overtime games on the road. And 3 or 4 of their players in the top 5 of minutes played can't use fatigue as an excuse. Okay, watch that text, and I don't have a name for who that text in. You're factually correct, but let me add some context to your text. They were playing their 3rd game in 7 days, but they played Saturday. Nebraska played Sunday. So they had 1 more day of recovery and prep time to get ready for Nebraska on a Wednesday night. That's big. 1 more full day to prep and practice for Nebraska. So that's big. Also, Nebraska's played 13 conference games. Northwestern's last night was 12. So Nebraska's had 1 more extra league game on their legs than Northwestern. So I'm not, Fred would not totally use fatigue, but I also thought Northwestern did get tired in the second half. They didn't make nearly as many shots in the second half, so you started to see their fatigue, but they had such a nice lead early on. So while you're factually correct, also context that the Northwestern had 1 extra day of prep for Nebraska than the Huskers had for them.
And we're not just talking about fatigue and the schedule. It's also to some of the injuries that Nebraska is dealing with now too. Like Rink Mast isn't fully healthy. No. Juwan Gary is coming off having missed a couple weeks with his injury. Josiah Alec is not fully healthy. There's 1 more, I think, that's battling something. But anyways,
well, Eli's not playing.
Yeah.
Eli's out.
So I just think, we don't know too, just with Rink has not been 100%. He had surgery and 2 weeks later is playing, and I don't think his knee's 100%. And so it's again, and every team battles it, and it's just something, the grind of a Big Ten season especially. But for my point, talking about Nebraska, it's also not only the schedule and playing the overtime games and going on the road and all that and the scheduling part of it, but it's also just kind of what they're battling that we don't see, that they've got some key guys that are not 100%.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to ask for them when they're playing a lot of minutes and then they're not fully healthy.
Absolutely. Chuck was the one who sent that in. Chuck, thank you. You raised good points, but I also think that there's some the lack of prep time and Coach Hoiberg has talked about this, I think, even with Jessica and I on the air, that we've gone through a lot of stretches here where Nebraska's getting one less day of prep than their opponents. That's a big deal, folks. It really is. I mean, because with the NCAA mandated rules, you have to give teams a day off during the week. And so if you only have 3 days to prep and you can't practice one day, you're down to 2. And so that's why this week coming up is so big for Nebraska. Can they fight? Hopefully they can fight their way through Michigan on Saturday to get to that break.
Well, and also kind of to add to that, too, I mean, Nebraska was coming off an emotional loss at Illinois, whereas Northwestern won, right?
Correct.
And then also Northwestern was...
Northwestern lost both. They lost, they lost at Minnesota Saturday.
But they were at home following their back-to-back overtime. So on top of having an extra day prep, they got to be back at home, whereas Nebraska had to hit the road and, you know, again, had to travel back late and just that whole scheduling part of it too. But, you know, and Coach Hoiberg would not for a second use that as an excuse either. Because again, that's what he said. You've got to, yes, it is a concern, but you've got to find a way to kind of gut your way through it at this point.
Well, the Jordy Ball era is underway. Bottom of the first, 2 on, 2 outs. Let's listen in to Nate Rohr from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Now 1-2 to Fiedler. Jordy delivers. Fiedler takes a rise ball too high, and the count is 2-2. A little bit of a breeze moving the American and Mexican flags in straightaway center, but not much. 2-2 the count. Ball brings it home. Fiedler takes low and away. Ball 3. We're full 3-2. Jordy has had to throw a million pitches this center. This will be the 40th pitch, in fact. 2 on, 2 out. Scoreless bottom of the first. Ball winds and deals. That swung on and popped up third base side, foul ground. Gray back into her right. Has room and makes the catch right in front of the wall for the 3rd out of the inning. So Ball had to fight and scrap to get through it, but she got through it. And the inning is over without a run from Washington.
So no score after 1. How about that? 40-some pitches in the first inning. That's a long way. You kept making a comment. You're like, man, this first inning's taking forever. 40 pitches will do that, but no score in that game. Huskers will play Washington tonight. Duke, who's ranked, I think, 10th or 11th tomorrow. And then Long Beach State. And we'll wrap up the weekend against Utah Valley. Those are the 4 games they're playing down there. We'll go back down there and pick up some more action here in just a little bit. You had some fun last night. That was a great event, wasn't it, over at the Hawks?
Oh, it was incredible. It was really cool. Just, again, to see all the teams come out and be a part and how invested they were and how much they actually, you know, it's one thing just to sit behind a table and sign autographs, but just to be able to really interact and spend time and, just a cool opportunity, and they were really embracing it, and it just goes to show you, you know, just the impact that our female women's student athletes are making in the community, and they were great. It was cool too because it wasn't just like the girls were going to one station, just the volleyball station, and staying there. They were rotating and kind of interacting with all the sports. The rifle station had a cool like toy type gun thing that you could shoot, and there was a big bowling, like inflatable bowling, and there's a lot of cool things that they could do, and I think that the kids that came out really enjoyed it.
Very good. Well, that was fun there. All right, I think we'll go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll be able to listen in to the top of the second. Let's listen to the Huskers bat a little bit in their opening softball game of the year. But first, time to tell you that Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. More Sports Nightly and more from Puerto Vallarta coming up next.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow. Provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try hair growth today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
There's no community like a Cenex community, and that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Woodhouse has got you covered for your next car, truck, or SUV. We are committed to making the car buying and owning experience better, thanks to our knowledgeable sales staff and factory certified technicians. You can discover our large inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles anytime at woodhouse.com, where we have made buying a car easier than ever. Whether you need a family hauling SUV, a car to take you around town, or a hard-working truck, Woodhouse has something for everyone.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
I just remember leaving that day feeling absolutely exhausted. I was sick and tired of living that double life.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
The anxiety, the depression is real. You start thinking about the money, where that could have went to. It's never enough. I could win $10 million today, and I'd go back and try to win 20 tomorrow.
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy, from repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you Thursday night, Sports Nightly. Husker softball underway, first game of their year down in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. It's a tournament going on down there. Huskers and Washington Huskies, a battle of top ranked teams in the country, number 7 against number 17. Huskers are at bat, scoreless game, top of the second, 1 on, 1 out. Let's rejoin Nate Rohr.
Neil, another of the important seniors on this roster. Caitlin, an everyday starter last year, and finished up hitting .307, 5 homers. First one from Malin, and that curveball is up and in to Neil, ball 1. 25 RBI for Neil last year, after 25 RBI the year before. The runner at first, Bredwell, with 2 outs. Top of the second, scoreless game. Malin with a 1-0, and Neil rolls a ground ball to short. Holtorf to her left has it and whips it to first to end the inning. Nebraska gets a 1-out single, but nothing more. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Alana Johnson will lead it off for Washington. 1.5 complete.
All right, so Huskers got a base runner but could not push anything across. We'll try to get one more listen in with Nate before we sign off here at the top of the hour tonight. You spent a lot of time at the University of Oklahoma. One of their biggest fans was Toby Keith, who passed away earlier this week because of stomach cancer. Man, I love Toby Keith. I thought that was awesome, and I know he loved Oklahoma Sooners sports.
Oh, yeah, he was a big supporter, and he was one of those that wasn't just a football guy. He was OU softball's probably #1 fan. He was at a lot of OU women's basketball games, men's basketball. It was baseball, I mean, across the board. You know, I had a different perspective, too, because my brother actually worked his wife. They started a golf course in Norman, Belmar, because Toby got tired of going to all these uppity country clubs where you had to have your shirt tucked in and act a certain way, so kind of more of a laid-back type country club, or not country club, but it's a public course, but a really nice golf course that you could kind of be a little bit more laid back. So my brother worked for them at the golf course, and they were really good to him. And he still, even this past summer, him and my dad both worked Toby Keith's foundation, their golf tournament that he did. Toby, a lot of people don't know how much he gave back to. He started a kind of a place in the Oklahoma City for kids that have cancer and their families to be able to go and stay. It's called the Toby Keith Kids Corral, that for kids that had cancer that were having to go get treatments. It was, you know, maybe felt a little bit more like home and didn't have to stay at the hospital the whole time, but it was right there by the hospital. And he has a big event every year that my dad and brother still work for and go and volunteer for. But his legacy will live on, not just by his music, but those types of things that he's done to really kind of establish and give back to the community. And you know, kids with cancer they were just really, really close to his heart. So, but yeah, he kind of went downhill in a hurry, and he was so skinny, but really sad news. But he certainly made a huge impact on the state of Oklahoma, not just the Oklahoma Sooners, but the entire state of Oklahoma.
And he was the one who really gave, and I know she's been a hot button topic. He gave Taylor Swift her first contract.
Yeah.
His label signed her. He was impressed by her. She'd been turned down by multiple people. So, I mean, I've not heard Taylor talk about Toby since his passing, but she owes a lot to him, because somebody's got to take a chance on you, and Toby Keith did.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I think he did that a lot for people, and you know, also too, Jordy Ball actually posted a tweet and
saw that.
And you know, his in memory of Toby Keith, and he, you know, after every one of the championships, the national championships that Oklahoma softball won, he would open up his Toby Keith's Bar and Grill for the team to go celebrate, and they'd get on stage and he'd sing with the entire team. And
awesome.
So, you know, just again, celebrating and championing that women's sports program and wanting to provide them those types of opportunities. So, you know, this just kind of perfect timing when you talk about the support and, you know, the exposure and all those types of things. He was a big advocate for that, for women's sports in the state of Oklahoma, and certainly Oklahoma softball. And you saw just the outpouring from players from the Oklahoma softball program, and Jordy Ball, who transferred from there, just what he meant to them because of the support that he gave them.
He's also a huge supporter of our military. Did a lot of military shows in his career, and a lot of his music was dedicated to the military as well. So Toby Keith passing earlier this week. All right, Cole says Nate's back at work, bottom of the second, no score in Nebraska and Washington. Let's go back and listen in for a little bit as the Huskers and Jordy Ball on the defense right now.
Now the batter, Brooke Nelson, right-hand hitter. Nelson crowds the plate, straight up stance. First one on the way. Nelson shows bunt, pulls back, takes a ball. Throw to second with the runner going is not in time. And a stolen base for Johnson. So now Washington has a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Runner at second. No outs. No score. Nebraska and Washington, bottom of the second inning. 1-0 to Nelson. Jordy winds and deals. Nelson takes in the dirt. The ball skips away from Bredwell back to the screen, and Johnson heads to third. So now a little old fly ball will put the Huskies on top. And time is asked for and received by Lori Sipple, and she walks out to the circle. As she does, our greetings to Harmon Johnson, watching along with us from the UNL dorms. Apparently he was out of bowling this fall. And Husker band mom says she's expecting a lot of Sarpy County strikeouts this year. Well, you and me both. Lori Sipple, the associate head coach, makes her way back to the dugout. 2 balls, no strikes, the count to Nelson. Nebraska nothing, Washington nothing, bottom of the second. Ball in a hole, the infield coming in. Outfield still straight up and normal depth. So a lot of hitting room for Nelson to hit a little parachute to fall in. Runner at third, Johnson, nobody out, the 2-0. Nelson shows bunt, pulls back, takes down and in, 3-0. Ball through the screwball on the fake squeeze. It was out of the zone, the count at 3-0. Righty to righty. Ball delivers, 3-0. Nelson takes just a bit inside with a screwball, ball 4. So 3 walks and a hit batter. And now Jaden Glab comes to the plate. The pot boiling a little bit around Jordy Ball. Scoreless game. We are in the bottom of the second inning. Johnson at third, Nelson at first. Nobody out. Ball brings home the first one. Runner goes. Pitch taken for a ball inside. The runner, Nelson, steals second unopposed. So 2 steals this inning for Washington. And now both Nelson and Johnson are in scoring position. Jaden Glab, a Midwesterner from Dubuque, Iowa. A freshman. 1-0 to Glab, the pitch. Glab takes over the inside corner. Called a strike. We're even at 1. Glab was ranked 9th by Perfect Game Softball in this recruiting class. 1-1 to Glab. Runners second and third. Nobody out. Ball delivers 1-1. Glab hits a little flare toward second. Kaneda boxes around. It squirts away from her. She has no play. Johnson scores. And it's 1-0 Washington in the bottom of the second. Little flare infield single. Kaneda dove to her left. Got glove on it. It was a difficult play. And remember, the infield's in. And Kaneda got glove on it, knocked it down, but it got away from her, and as it did, Johnson scurried in to score. Nelson advances to third on the play, so runners at the corners with nobody out. Now the whole infield and battery huddles in the back of the circle as Jordy Ball tries to find her way back. This inning started rocky as Ball fell down to Johnson 3-1 before hitting her with a pitch. Then a 4-pitch walk to Nelson. And that little flare single for Glab. Avery Hobson steps in, left-hand hitter. Runners first and third with nobody out and a run in. First pitch slap foul to the left by Hobson, strike 1. Like Glab, Hobson is a Midwesterner, native of Belton, Missouri. She started her college career at Oklahoma State, played 2 years there. The 0-1 on the way from Jordy. Hobson shows bunt, takes a strike over the outside corner with a screwball over the outside corner. And the count is 0-2. Washington 1-0. We're in the bottom of the second. Count is 0-2 to Hobson. Hobson started 20 games last year and hit .298. Ball with the 0-2. Hobson slaps a ground ball to short. Andrews charges, throws home. There's the tag. It's in time to get Nelson. Good decision by Billy as she came in on that ball, made the backhand stop. Nelson trying to score. And Andrews made a strong and accurate throw, and Ava Bredwell had more than enough time to wheel around the tag. So one out, and maybe the escape hatch has creaked open a little bit for ball on the Huskers. Still, you flip the order over to the top of the order with Brooklyn Carter, who struck out after a 9-pitch at bat. Ball's first pitch, Carter, the lefty hitter, cuts and misses, strike one. Ball had to throw 40 pitches in the first inning. 9 pitch at bats to Carter, Holtorf, and Stewart. A 7-pitch at bat to Fiedler. The line by Jordy. 1-strike pitch. That's slapped at and missed by Carter, strike two. And after the infield single to give up the run, 5 straight strikes from Jordy Ball. 0-2 to Carter. Washington with a 1-0 lead, bottom of the second. Ball to the wind. Her 0-2 pitch. Carter swings and misses on a changeup for strike three. The third Sarpy County strikeout of the game, and now there are 2 out here in the bottom of the second.
All right, there we go. Nate Rohr calling the action down in Puerto Vallarta. Huskers trail 1-0, bottom of the second. We'll give you one more update before we sign it off. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back with, oh, you know it, Cole's Joke of the Week.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that's made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough.
Now, get 1.9% financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Ford F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
We're inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest Ford premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Thursday nights, and it's become kind of a beloved segment for whatever reason here on the program, Cole's Joke of the Week, and he's been hard at work throughout the day testing these off of Duke and making sure whatever he's going to throw out there is okay.
I didn't need that shade for whatever reason.
Is this part of the joke?
I take pride in my work. No, it's not. Here's the joke. Here's the joke tonight. It's not really it's more of a comment. 3 men were in a boat and had 4 cigarettes, but no lighter. So they threw 1 cigarette overboard, and the whole boat became a cigarette lighter.
I don't get it.
Oh, boy. All right, folks. I'm kind of between a 5 and a 6 on this one, Cole. Sorry. That's just...
That's a good joke.
Okay. We'll see what the folks think. You got it. You can fire off a text, 402-413-2400.
Okay, here's crypto. Cole's joke ranking: 9 for originality, 7 for delivery, 5 on the funny scale. Total score 7.
Our first, oh boy, Jim in Columbus.
Oh, wow, that's harsh.
That is, well, the one thing I can say, nobody has said that joke before.
No, I've never heard that.
So I'm not telling jokes that people have heard.
Okay, Jim in Columbus gave you a 1. It's better than that. I'm in that 5 range. You've had better. That's fine. That's okay. Not everything's a winner. Not everything's a home run. You got a single or a double in there, right?
Ethan gave you a 7 in the chat. Children of the Corn gave you a 4. So, yeah, it's like, what's your goal for your average? Is it like, you want to hit like 300?
Well, I don't know. And here's the thing.
So you don't have goals for yourself.
In the fall, I was doing well and with these jokes, and I was in a rhythm.
Yeah. Now we've been
but everybody needs an off season.
Yeah. It's one of those double meaning jokes that you threw out there, and then sometimes that just takes us minutes. I might think of this in a couple hours and go, okay, it's funnier the more I think about it. It could be like that.
You might.
Drace gave you a 6. Tiger Shark Diver gave you a 6. So.
All right. That's passing.
Yeah. Listen, we can't give you an off season because people love it too much.
That would be ridiculous. Imagine you said that for football. Imagine you said, hey, we're going to play 50 games this year. It's not feasible.
Somebody gave you a 12. They said that joke was over most people's heads, and that could be right. That's why I said the more I kind of think about it, the funnier it gets. But
I think it's over my head. Mine and Jim in Columbus, it was over our heads.
Right.
I might get it later.
People liked your off-season comment. They gave that a 10. So maybe the non-joke was a better thing for you.
Okay.
How about that?
How about that?
Good stuff. Thank you, Cole.
Yep.
We put Cole to work last night. You were remote. We had the basketball broadcast trying to get remote. Nate Roars down in Mexico was trying to test his lines last night. Cole's like running around
and
in
then
here.
Kent and Jake were trying to get set up and going.
And they're a handful, those two.
Yes, yeah.
They're telling jokes now in their pregame shows. Where did that come from?
They're inspired by Cole.
Did you inspire that, Cole? I mean, Kent's now doing dad joke type things.
There's about like 2 minutes before we get on air, KP's telling me, Cole, give me a joke. So, yeah.
So you're saying you're giving Kent all your good material?
That could be what it
I'm
is.
recycling old material from the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Husker and Hanover gave you a 5.5.
I mean, that's kind of where I was. I said I was kind of between a 5 and a 6. So it could have been worse. And again, I think the more I think about it, probably the funnier. I'll chuckle out loud in about 2 hours once I kind of process
Listen, not
it.
only does Cole not get an off season, he's basically like the MVP around here, with how he keeps this thing going. So we'll give him a slide on some of his off nights. Everybody's allowed to have an off night.
That's right. Absolutely. All right, tomorrow night, Fred Hoiberg has a presser tomorrow. We'll hear from him as he previews the Saturday game with Michigan. We'll hear more from Jessica's interviews from Girls and Women's Sports Day that was held last night at the Hawks Championship Center. Nate Rohr will join the show because by tomorrow night, Husker softball will have played 3 games. They'll finish this game. They play Duke tomorrow and Long Beach State tomorrow as well. So they'll have 3 games in the books by the time tomorrow night, so Nate will give us a preview of all that. They're in the top of the third. Huskers down 1-0. Nobody on, 2 outs. Huskers at bat right now. Thanks to Cole, Duke, and everybody for being a part of this one tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We're back with a full Friday show. Some call it a party show. We'll do our best tomorrow night. Good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Start your next journey with Woodhouse. Our commitment extends beyond just selling cars. We offer an unparalleled car buying experience that allows you to shop and buy all online. Explore an array of new brands, makes, and models, as well as our large selection of pre-owned vehicles. And it's easy to get started today with our streamlined purchasing process online, granting you the freedom to secure your next vehicle anytime, anywhere. Discover a better way to buy with Woodhouse.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that's made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough.
Now, get 1.9% financing for 72 months on a